me through what you're doing, and then I'll, when we sit down and talk, maybe eat some pizza together.
Cool.
Show me what you got.
Yeah, we'll start with the nut now. We'll start doing the nut pan. So we use our par bakes. So we always do these probably, I'd say every day we're doing a batch of par bakes.
Yeah.
And then once they're kind of panned, they've proofed in the pan for a few hours. We're getting them par baked here so you can kind of see.
Oh,
this is one of them. Yeah.
Some good color.
Yeah, so nice bottom. And then to order, we just oil up a pan and then get some sliced mozzarella. This is a grande whole milk slice.
You slice them yourself, or they come sliced?
No, they come sliced just because like we're a little restricted on space.
Right.
So, for us to get any other equipment in here, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. But we used to have a dough sheeter in here because we were doing thin crust for a while.
Oh, yeah?
And those were going great. It's just, instead we wanted to get a rack here. We could utilize a rack a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, doing a different dough mix every week for one day a week, it just wasn't, we weren't ready for it yet in terms of space and all that. And then this is our nut pan crust. So we layer it with cheese first. Then we do generous amount of sauce. Like, I like to kind of keep the sauce intact before we do what's called like a touch up. So what I mean by that is like I just keep it slightly inside the crust. It's okay if it kind of goes over because I don't mind the caramelized tomato sauce, but I like to do that usually when we do that touch up. So like right now we're just getting it all dressed up. It's almost like coloring, right?
Yeah.
Just get a nice little even layer across. And that's it.
That's a lovely amount of basil.
Yeah.
In your
So we
sauce.
do, we don't do anything crazy with our sauce. We just use good tomatoes, fresh ingredients, fresh basil, good oil. So this one we're gonna do, this is one of my favorite combos, sausage and giardiniera.
Why is that so dang popular in this Chicagoland area?
Yeah, so I mean Italian sausage, especially like this bulk pinched sausage, I feel like is, again, like that's just the topping of choice around here. But then you've got giardiniera, which is like, there's different versions of it, but typically it's like a briny pepper, I wouldn't say relish, but just like a marinade almost, like a marinated pepper. And it's really good. It just gives it a different flavor. It's got some heat because we use hot giardiniera, and it's a Chicago staple. So like not many people up until recently, I feel like knew about giardiniera. Like it just started to get a little bit more recognition, but I do think it's like a Chicago thing, or at least it originated.
Yeah,
in the Chicagoland area.
I have eaten so much giardiniera in the last 3 days,
Yeah.
and I am not tired of it because I think it just is the perfect pairing.
Yeah.
It's so damn good. And you are not shy with the sausage.
No.
You guys grind it in-house or anything like that? You source it?
No, we just do a medium. So we do a medium hot mix, actually through our food purveyor, Greco.
Okay.
It's really good. Like it's something that we landed on, and everything that we're using today is just something that we landed on while we were testing out our recipes.
Nice. So I also noticed that people drain their jard, right?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
So that, I would say, is more of like a tip. It really depends on how you're serving it. Like if you're serving it as like a little sidecar, you could keep the oil in there because more than likely you got like a bread or something to dip it in. But I strain it before we put it on the pizzas because otherwise you just kind of end up with an oily mess on your pizza. So like, even though it's strained, it's still got all the flavor from that brine. And like you could see, it's got a variety of peppers, some carrots. We use Caruso's hot giardiniera, which we like.
I just met Dom.
Oh yeah. They're great. They're a great family. We do intentionally kind of load the toppings just because, again, it's going in a hot oven. Everything tends to like shrink a little bit when you bake. Sometimes it floats away. And then we're just gonna let that go for about 5-6 minutes before we touch it up.
One temperature for both the rounds and the squares.
Yeah. So
Keep it simple.
That's a good observation because being in a smaller kitchen, you have the challenge. You only have so much space to have your equipment, including an oven. If I had a bigger opportunity, for a larger oven or even another deck on the oven, then we could kind of create recipes that have those separate baking temperatures. But like when we were doing all of our test kitchen stuff, we realized like, hey, we got to keep it at one temperature just because like you can't stop a service or you can't change the temperature of your deck mid-service on Friday night, but all of them are, it basically revolves around our dough.
Yeah.
And like that was the thing that I really wanted to highlight with a lot of stuff that we were doing is like we have such good dough that why not, kind of center a menu around that.
Hell yeah. The is it all one dough for everything?
Yeah, right
Sick.
now it is. So like, but we're always kind of tweaking it. It really, it's cooler out now, so we're going a little bit higher hydration.
Right.
But like we're tweaking it along the way. But that's the nice thing about, having one dough recipe. You could do multiple things with it.
Yeah, it streamlines the process, but also like are garlic knots like a good way to just use leftover dough, would you say too?
Yeah, I mean, we do use, we'll use a 2 to 3 day dough depending on like the day of the week.
Yeah.
But typically, we're trying to keep it fresh with the same batches that we're doing our hand toss.
You can tell the difference, huh?
Yeah, like,
absolutely.
In the color, in
These
the
are
bake,
poppin',
like you get a
man.
little, you get a nice little color on the bottoms. And then, we use extra virgin olive oil because it does give that extra color to it. Mm-hmm. And then just similar to what we do with our pizzas, we just dress them up. So we got fresh garlic here that we chop every day.
So it's not just like a second thought. It's like you're actually creating for something that could be just perceived as super simple.
Yeah, totally. And it's like a dough that we treat it the same way with all the rest of our dough. It's 1 to 2 days. It really depends on the day and the volume that we go through.
Yeah.
We cold ferment it. We actually got some already balled over here if you want to check it out.
Yeah, let's check it out.
So this is we got another batch to run through, but this has been sitting probably for about an hour.
Lovely.
Yeah. And like, all of our dough portions are set for our hand stretch and our garlic knot.
So I know you did a pod with Bruce, but I don't recall everything because I think I may have watched it such a long time ago.
Yeah.
But did you guys talk about the square footage of the space?
We did a little bit. Yeah, we did a little bit.
What's the square footage?
So we're at about 250 square feet right now, and that excludes the common areas. When I say the common areas, I mean like the 3-dish pit, 3-comp sink.
The shared space.
Shared space, right.
Yeah.
So like our operating space is about 250 square feet.
It's
like
basically this rectangle.
Yeah, just a rectangle, enough to fit all of our pizza equipment, and then enough to, get a little POS station set up. So we're using the same cheese.
Dang.
Again, that's the thing that, we have to remember too. Whenever we do new menu items, I try to keep it within our order inventory. Like I don't want to have to order something new because then we're storing another box or a case of something.
Heard.
And so like we're trying to keep our menu interchangeable enough and like what we can do with what we have.
Mm-hmm. So 250 square feet.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about like on a pop-in Friday night,
Yeah.
you're having 60 to 70 minute wait times.
Yes.
But that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
It means that people love your shit.
Yeah.
What is your, like if everything goes smoothly and there are no hiccups, how many dough balls are you preparing for a service and how many do you think you can sell? Are you running a pizzeria in this day and age? If so, your cheese costs are probably killing your margins. As someone who's talked to hundreds of pizzeria operators, I've seen this story play out many times. Here's what most pizzerias don't realize. Bacio isn't just selling you cheese, they're actually paying you to use premium cheese through their rewards program. Think about that. Better quality and cash back on every order. That's why I'm seeing more and more pizzerias switch to Bacio. They're getting the perfect cheese pull while actually improving their bottom line. Don't just take my word for it. Schedule a demo today and let them know what's good dough sent you. See how quality and profitability can actually go hand in hand. How many dough balls are you preparing for a service and how many do you think you can sell?
So on a Friday night, we always shoot for 120.
Sheesh.
Like that's what we're prepping. Now, sometimes we go through it all. Sometimes we do more of our pan crusts. We're shooting for 120. Our dough can stay 2 to 3 days. So that's another thing is like before we decided to make the move to open up more days, it was like more or less getting the right cadence in terms of like what we were prepping, how much dough we could carry over. When we were just Saturday only, like, yeah, of course we were selling out more because I was doing a guess. I was like, all right, hey, we'll go through 80, 90 dough balls. Whereas now, if we have, 36 or 48 dough balls left over, we can carry them over in the next day and then reuse them either as a hand stretch or as a garlic knot. On a Friday night, we're staying at least
30 orders ahead?
Probably 20 pizzas ahead.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Good tip. So you have on a Friday night, how many people here working?
In the kitchen, we usually have about 5 people, and then we have 1 POS, point of sale person, and then we have 1 dishwasher.
Yeah, 5 people seems like it would be tight up in here, huh?
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to be able to have enough staff to make sure that you're cranking out beautiful pies.
Yeah.
So
totally.
what, you have 1 person, 2 people stretching?
It's usually 1 stretching, and then we have like 1 utility guy, which is like they're doing a pre-stretch or they're, refilling the table. They're handling customers. They're kind of doing a little bit of everything. But this is your garlic, spinach, and ricotta. We use all fresh ingredients, no frozen stuff. I know some people sometimes like to use
I'm guilty.
frozen spinach, but this is a
frozen spinach. Yeah.
now this will be ready for the touch up. Basically, all we're doing is just anywhere there's a kind of a white spot, you're literally just kind of, because I love our sauce. I want people to taste that. So now this will go back in.
Triple if you count the barbecue.
Just for, we'll come back to this. I like to do, we use the cup more for consistency than like a budget thing. Like I've been stressing, trying to get pizzas made basically the same way. It doesn't matter if, Jake makes it or I make it or, the newest person. This is fresh spinach. We just kind of wilt it down a little bit in extra virgin olive oil. And like, there's no reason outside of like when I was first doing like pop-ups and we were working on a really hot oven, really hot Ooni, you'd put like dry spinach on top and then it just burns like a leaf. You know? We just hit it with a ton of pecorino right on top.
Nice, good move.
Yeah.
How many pies can you fit in your oven?
We've been doing 4.
4?
Yeah, 4.
So,
and then sometimes with the pan crust, we could double stack them. We could fit 8 if we did 8.
Double stack like one in front of the other?
Yeah. But that, I try not to stress our...
Yeah.
That's what we grew our brand. That's what we started our brand, is doing catering. And like, I think we do it really well. What's cool is we become part of the party. It's not just like, a food truck at the side of the curb where people got to walk out and grab it. It's like people are very interested. And most people nowadays have some at-home baking experience that they're, usually bouncing questions off of us like, oh, I do this dough, or hey, I have an Ooni or a Ghazni. And like, they're the ones that are trying to figure it out. So like, we engage with them differently than any other caterer. All right, so this is the garlic, spinach, and ricotta.
So crispy.
Oh yeah. Cool. Yes. Now this gets like the dollops of ricotta.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what it needs for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. That's lovely.
Yeah. And then
Good
a
work.
little pecorino
Yup.
romano.
There's something in that ricotta, huh?
Yeah, we herb it. So we herb it with just fresh basil, a little bit of cheese. It gives it a little different color to it, but also, it shows that we do something else besides just having the ricotta.
Hell yeah. Good work.
The bottoms get nice. Yeah, so that's kind of the expectation. You can kind of see the crumb too. Like
Sexy.
all from our dough.
What's up with all these Ooni bamboo peels?
So, as you know, they've been very important to our growth. Like I started as their street squad, which is basically they're powered by Ooni. And then I eventually, got an opportunity to be an ambassador like yourself. And by doing so, like you're up for a lot of different opportunities. They do a lot of demos, right? And they ask us to help with some of those demos. So at the end of a demo, they're like, we got all these peels, we don't want to take them back. We're
Hell
like,
yeah, dude.
I'll take them. We haven't really gone through too many. There's a couple that are like cracked.
Oh yeah?
And they even have like, I like this. When we're pulling the stone on on a gig, like it kind of burns it into the, like it kind of adds uniqueness to
Yeah, it's tight.
Like you can see this now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll just kind of.
Are you still an ambassador? Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm still ambassador.
Dang,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
That's goals.
I
Own
know.
my own pizza shop and still be a new ambassador.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, we use it all the time. Like,
Right. So much crunch.
Yeah.
That texture. Sheesh.
Yeah. So now, what we'll do is just hit it up with some grated pecorino romano. Yeah, go ahead. Thanks. But yeah, this is like when they're done right, which this one is. These are my favorite pizza. That's good. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
I hope you do it.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my podcast with Gio, where we dive deeper into his incredible journey and what exciting things he's cooking up for the future.